In this episode, I'm exploring the abandoned Fernald State School, the oldest mental institution that served individuals with developmental disabilities in the Western Hemisphere. The state school was originally built in 1848 in South Boston and had the primary goal of reintegrating high-functioning youths with disabilities as responsible citizens in society. As demands for disabled care grew across the United States, Fernald came under pressure to accommodate adults with chronic disabilities who required more extensive care, and consequently the institution needed significantly more space to continue its operations. The campus was eventually relocated in the late 1880s, where it grew to encompass 72 buildings across nearly 200 acres of land. At its peak, the state school housed over 2,500 patients, with the majority of them considered to be feeble-minded. As the 20th century progressed, the Fernald School faced rising enrollment and an urgent need for caregivers, leading to the neglect of many patients. The situation worsened during World War I and World War II when staff were called away to serve, prompting the institution to hire inexperienced personnel. By the late 1940s and early 50s, conditions had reached a critical point when Quaker Oats, in collaboration with MIT, conducted shocking radioactive experiments on over 70 boys aged 10 to 17. These experiments involved feeding them oatmeal and milk laced with radioactive iron and calcium, as well as direct injections, all in the name of understanding mineral absorption in the human body. In the end, human experimentation was one of just many horrors uncovered at Fernald State School. Patients suffered severe neglect, leading to tragic and premature deaths. As societal attitudes shifted and community care options became available, enrollment declined, resulting in financial challenges. The institution officially closed in 2014, marking the end of an era for one of the oldest and darkest asylums for individuals with intellectual disabilities in the history of the United States. Now, let's step onto the former campus and uncover the horrors hidden under a decade of decay. Let's explore. Alright, this is the first real building that we're entering. And hey, a wheelchair! It's already living up to expectations. It's a beautiful fall day. It's perfect for exploring. Wow. I really wanted to keep going because I have a feeling there could be more down this way. But after looking at just a couple of these rooms and, kind of what I'm standing on, I think I'm okay where I am. Don't need to go any further down this hallway. Here's our first wheelchair, as we saw a minute ago. It's missing a wheel, and I think that makes it perfect to be the chair of the episode, guys. We don't have to go any further. This is the official Luke Explorer's chair. This is a really cool room. Look at this fireplace. And the blue walls. You don't see that anywhere except asylums and state hospitals. I'm really enjoying the architecture of some of these rooms so far, guys. The style is very similar to Hudson River. That's quite the drop. Don't miss your footing. Look at this old desk. It's funny, most of the rooms in this building don't have much left, but every once in a while you just run into a wheelchair or a desk. I'm kind of breezing through this section of this building as quickly as I can. There's a lot of these older buildings which we're checking out first that are in much worse condition than the newer ones. So I'm really trying to play it by ear, what it is I film. So yeah, let's keep going. Not the safest step. Check out the floor in this room. And when I say check out the floor, there really is no floor to be checking out. Well, I'd say we're up pretty considerably high now. What would you guys say? Check out this room. This is probably the nicest setup we've seen so far. There's even remnants of a stained glass window up there. This is some pretty cool architecture. Looks pretty gothic to me, honestly. I keep saying it reminds me of the Hudson River State Hospital, and to be honest, I can really see the comparisons. I almost skipped this room, and if we hadn't already found the chair of the episode right in the beginning, well, we'd have some options. And I'm sure it's gonna get better than this anyway. Alright, so this one shot right here kind of shows you everything you need to know about this place. There's not much of a stairwell, and it's kind of hard to make out from here, but there's really no floors either. Not a first floor, not a second floor, and definitely not a third floor. Alright, so I almost completely missed this room too. Look how there's just no wall. Check out this room. I think more administration in here. But look at these cabinets. You don't see this architecture every day. Guys, so this is officially my first time here at Fernald Developmental Center. And I actually had someone tell me a couple days ago that there wasn't much left here and that they demoed most of the buildings. And I can tell you, after about an hour, even though we've only gone in a few buildings, there is so much more left here than I just thought. Like, I mean, there's dozens and dozens of buildings. So I'm excited to see what we pop into next. Let's go check out the next one. All right, this is the gym. It's a small building, and there's not much to look at, but those beams in the ceiling are somewhat cool. And there's no rims, but at least there's a backboard. No rims there either. Guys, so yet again with this building, the floor is crumpling under my feet. This drop's not as bad, but I mean, the floors are just deteriorating day by day here. When you accidentally find a good shot. Climb up the gutter and up the scaffolding, and I'm on top of the world. Guys, look how destroyed this is. There's absolutely no getting through there. No reason to go through there anyway. And unless I'm mistaken, besides a picture or two, there's not much of a reason to go in here either.
No.
Well, let's play Where Did the Floor Go?
Definitely gotta stay on the beam, dude.
Guys, so this keeps begging the question of where is the floor? Like, it's funny, but at the same time, I'm kind of concerned. There's no floor in, like, any of these buildings. Well, if we didn't do the chair challenge already, we would have been able to complete it about 60 times over. There's not a lot of substance in this building either, but hey, chairs are chairs, right?
Check out the chairs in there. You got so many options.
Well, oh yeah, look at that. I didn't even see that. Guys, it's chair heaven. So if anyone's ever seen what we're presuming to be a sink like this, please let me know. If it's not a sink, let me know that as well, because I don't want to spread lies here. But look at this bathroom setup. They configured it so the toilets are just a mere foot away from each other. The odd bathroom phenomenon continues in here. I'm gonna assume that this has to be a sink. I've never seen one like this. And it's very communal, but I guess it does the job. Once again, you can see just how bad this floor is. You really want to watch your step here, because otherwise, you're going double down. Alright, this is the view from the inside that we saw when we were standing out there. And once again, when I say inside, there's not much of an inside. Guys, we're gonna head down into the tunnel really quick just so I can show you what the system would have looked like. So this system connects every single building on this complex. There's dozens of them, but fortunately they're all open on the outside, so we don't actually have to go down here at all. I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like. guys, this massive building that we're standing in front of right now is the admin building. So back when this place was in operation, whenever anyone would come and get checked in for the first time, for example, this is where they're coming. So this is one of the main buildings on the property. All right, so this building is just as destroyed as the last, but because it's admin, I am expecting there to be a couple more things in here we can probably check out. All right, I'm gonna head in the vault. There's not much in this building, but there is a highly secured vault. So as you can see, this is kind of what the whole of admin looks like. It's destroyed, there's graffiti everywhere. There's nothing left in any of the rooms. We're gonna skip the rest of it, go on to the next building. We have the auditorium, the chapel, which is burned, and then a couple other buildings to check out. So not as much intact substance here, but I think there's a lot of history and a lot of nature to really take in. And sometimes when you're exploring, you kind of have to look past the substance and kind of really dig into your feelings almost, as cliche as it may sound and as silly as it may sound, to really connect with nature and the place that you're exploring. All right, guys, so we're inside of the auditorium now. So hopefully there's a couple things left in here for us to check out. And right off the bat, we have a hot drink dispenser. Fresh and decaffeinated coffee, tea, hot chocolate, even soup. All right, we have some machinery here, guys. LC, any idea what this is?
I haven't looked at it yet. Shoot, I have no idea.
I don't want to say like a printer or anything,
This
but
I don't know.
no, it is. It's a printer.
Oh, nice.
This must be really old. I've never seen a printer that looks like this before.
Property tag. Fernald State School. Walter E. Fernald State School.
All right, so we found a scanner of some sorts. I don't know what we're scanning, but this is a pretty cool find. All right, here's our first look at the auditorium, which, to be completely honest with you, really is not in bad shape. Looks like there's a noose or something hanging, so that's really pleasant. So I don't regret it, but this would have been the chair of the episode if I didn't choose that wheelchair in the beginning. Exam 4. Ooh, this is what they do with the eye exams. I don't know if I've seen a lot of equipment that looks like this. Usually it's a lot of dentistry stuff, but this is new. This is really cool. Here's more eye equipment here. Not really sure what this is. This may have been the thing that you look into when they're measuring your eyes and puffs air in your face. I think your chin actually just goes on there. Guys, I found this little map right here, and it has every single building that is on the property and used to be on the property. For example, this whole cluster of buildings right here, that's completely gone. So there's a lot that's not here anymore, but this is a find and a half. Alright guys, so we weren't exactly 100% sure what building we're in, but now after looking at this room and seeing some of the stuff that we saw, this must have been a newer medical building. These partitions right here would have just cut the room probably in half, and over here they would have plugged the beds in right here. So that combined with the eye equipment that we saw, this has to be a medical building. Wow. Look at this. I don't think this was a hydrotherapy tub. I think this was just a regular tub. A very high-tech tub. Look at this. All right, this is the kitchen. I don't know what the heck this is. I think this is the most amount of stuff I've seen in this place in general. Freezers back here. A couple beds. Really just the most random assortment of stuff. Look how this old water fountain has a guardrail around it. Oh wow. This room is huge. Look how nice those chandeliers are. Compared to every other window and chandelier that's in this entire place, this has to be one of the nicest rooms. Look at that. Guys, there's more kitchen equipment on this side. This looks like where they actually prepared most of the food. Look at all this. So what's kind of cool about this cafeteria in particular is that they prepared every single meal here for every patient, all the staff, all the time. 3 meals a day. There's a lot of other little kitchens in all the other buildings that we saw, but in terms of where they actually did the cooking, it was only in this building. So that's kind of a cool fact. We have a couple hospital beds over here. How is it the cafeteria is the most asylum-y looking building on the Asylum complex? How is that possible? Well, that's an interesting start. A bike and a chair. a soiled laundry bin. And what do you know? Yet another pristine chair. Gotta love our chairs. Oh yeah. There's a lot more in here than I thought. The pews aren't even burned. You know, for something that burned, this is in way better shape than I thought. The piano's still there. For any of my religious friends, this probably would have been the tabernacle right here, where they would keep the Eucharist, but it's either been destroyed or removed. Probably removed.
Well, this is really cool. Look at that.
Guys, every corner that we turn, a half dozen buildings just show up out of nowhere. Now, granted, a lot of them are empty, like really empty and really destroyed. But I mean, look how beautiful that is, though. Look at that. Just from a nature perspective, it's gorgeous. Look at this. Guys, the building straight ahead is going to be the last one that we record today. As per usual, mind the gap.
This bathroom is really cool.
Huh. Look how the partitions are still here. I think that's granite, but not the urinals or the toilets. Actually, these were just regular toilets, yeah. So you were just having people do their business literally right next to each other. 3, 4, 5 at a time. Looks like someone may have been hanging out in here. Yeah.
Look over
Oh,
there.
wow. Yeah. Someone's been in here somewhat recently. Look, it even smells good in here. They have like an air purifier. Huh. What a weird assortment. There hasn't been a whole lot left in this place up to this point, but it's little nuggets like these that just make the whole trip worth it. Oh God, there's no good place to stand. Guys, check this out. So this isn't a medical building of any sorts, but that's a surgical light. And a wheelchair, obviously. But the surgical light stands out because, you know, obviously they're just storing it in here, but where would they have had surgical rooms? That's the question. The old medical building or the new one? Well, we were wondering where all the equipment went, and I think we found our answer. Turn the corner, and yet again, be some cool looking chairs. Dude, why did I choose the chair within like the first 5 minutes?
Look, you could have chosen the children restraint chair.
Oh, dude, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
my.
a restraint chair. That's the one you should have chosen for the episode.
Oh, guys.
Make an exception.
Oh my gosh, I think we have to. Okay, so usually when I choose the chair, there's no going back. However, you want to tell them what we just found?
We found the children restraint chair. See, it's got the clips on it still.
That's insane.
Yep, small.
I've never seen that. I mean, I have seen the restraint chairs that or the tables that are flat down to the ground, but a child's restraint chair, I mean, this has to be almost one of a kind. They do not make this anymore. That is for sure. So to go along with the restraints that we just found, I just noticed this, a physical restraint order and monitoring form. Client name, describe emergency situation and indicate staff person identifying situation. Less restrictive methods used prior to restraints. Time of physical hold. This is like an absolute relic. There's even more equipment in here. A bed and about a half dozen wheelchairs. Now I'm happy. Ooh. Oh, this is awesome. This is an electroshock, is it?
Might be.
It might be, yeah.
This is at least an exam table, surgical table.
Looks like the same kind of table that was at Hudson River. And the equipment, too, yeah. This was there and this was there. Huh. Ventimeter, ventilator.